Hey guys, how's everyone going? Hope everyone's doing well out there. If you didn't check out my first part of this video, please do so, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And if you can check out my other videos, I really appreciate any support. Yeah, I really appreciate people support my channel. I think people with disabilities, physical, mental, or learning disabilities, dyslexia, ADHD, autism, or whatever condition, I really appreciate support. And if you let me know, like, if you comment below, say that you subscribe to me or whatever, I'll do the same. Subscribe. If you check out my channel, my videos, I'll do the same for you. So hopefully that will help. We'll help each other. I've subscribed to quite a few dyslexic channels, as many as I could actually, and YouTubers of colour, especially in Black History Month. I tried to, as I call it, Black History and Empowerment. I tried to subscribe to and share and whatever, as many Black YouTubers as I could. And this month, like, I'll try and do, well, in looking to the future, as many YouTubers of colour, or any other often disadvantaged group, if you like. So anyway, I'll want to get to the list because I don't want this video to be too long. Hopefully I won't bore you. Hopefully I'll come up with something interesting that someone out there will enjoy. So point number 11, because I'm carrying on from my first point of 10, hopefully get up to 30 reasons. As I say, not everyone will agree with them, but hopefully someone out there will appreciate at least some of these reasons. I'd love to hear your comments on any of these videos below. Please don't hold back your feedback. Hopefully it'll be polite, but I'll try and be thick-skinned about it. If it's not, I'll have broad shoulders or whatever they say. 11, I thought what I could do is listen to any of your feedback about what would make you support my channel more, or what reasons you would have for supporting my channel or not supporting my channel, how I can improve it. It might not always appear like I listen, but I do. And I'll do my best to continue to improve, be as entertaining as possible, while also providing information and things like that. Yeah, the more you support me, the more I can support people like I keep talking about, the four, and the more I can support people in those four groups. Please refer to my other videos to check where I've said the four, to check out which groups I mean. But yeah, so changing perceptions of dyslexia, and supporting inventors and people like that across the four, as I call them. And as I say, the more my channel grows, the more I can perhaps donate some of that profit, if all being well, if I make some profit, which I hopefully I will, ASAP, I can sort of invest in, or, well, not even invest in, but fund things like technology for Africa, as I say, and inventors from those four groups: Africa, Asia, indigenous communities, and so forth. As I said before, 12, I can also encourage more people like this, as I say, as I keep talking about, physically, mentally, and learning disabled people. I can support those as well, like be an inspiration for them. Say, as I say, if I can do it, I'm sure they can too. And I think as a community, if we support each other as disabled communities, or people of colour, or the disadvantaged groups, people who struggle to get jobs, or people who struggle to make it in what many might call the real world or whatever, I think it'd be great if we could support each other. So yeah, I think that'd be for the greater good, shall I say? And as I say, I can inspire and motivate each other. We can inspire and motivate each other. Sorry. But yeah, as I say, I really appreciate your support. 13, as I say, probably, I always say 13 is the number I think of as unlucky. So I'll say that from I'm going to say selfish reason, or selfish point of view, please support my channel. Yeah, people with things in common with me. But overall, I can't think. Overall, I think the channel is quite positive. Probably I come across a bit boring. I hope not, but I might not be as interesting or as exciting or as exuberant and so forth as I'd like to be. But I hope I'll improve and make it better. Anyway, 14. Once again, like, if people support my channel, then I'll be able to be independent, but also I'll be able to help more people and invest in things that help people from, as I keep saying, the four. So I didn't want to be basically Africa, Asia, Indigenous Americans, and Indigenous Aborigines, Maoris, and people like that, from Australasia. So I'll be able to help those as much as possible to solve to work on problem solving and things like that. 15. Hopefully, someone out there agrees with a lot of my opinions, and I think if you agree with even some of my opinions, then it's probably worth subscribing to my channel and giving me as much support as possible. I think if you look at areas, if you look at people you disagree, if you look at people you agree with only some of their opinions but not the others, and you allow the things that you don't agree with to get in the way of the things that you do agree with, I think that's a bit. I can't think of the word I'm trying to look for. Well, I suppose you could say you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, perhaps, or things like that. But I think, yeah, we should look at the areas we do agree on, even if there are areas we don't quite agree on. 16, again, if I can do well on this channel, I keep going back to, I can support more people either by using any profits I make, or as many profits as I make, to support people like dyslexic people around the world, or poor people, disadvantaged people, disabled people. And as I keep referring to, Indigenous people from the 4 groups I talked about. Love to have your feedback about what would make you want to support my channel more, or things like that. 17. Hopefully, in time, I will make some interesting videos or reaction videos or things like that. 18. Yeah, hopefully my videos will be positive and always improving and as positive as possible and as productive as possible, helpful as possible, and so forth. And basically they'll make the world a better place, I hope. But that's the goal anyway. I'll do my best to do that. 19. I'm clutching at straws, but I think the channel is generally overall positive. Right? As I say, I hope it won't be too boring, but hopefully I'll have something interesting to say. But also, I think it's overall a positive channel that does more good than harm. I suppose something like that. And point 20, please support a dyslexic YouTuber with some mental health problems such as hoarding, anxiety, and other such things. So I think it'd be really good for people to support me, but obviously it's their choice. I probably sound like I'm begging, but as I say, I appreciate any support I do get, and I think at the moment that's all I can think of for this video. And say I appreciate any support that you give me, such as subscribing to the video if you haven't, or the channel, sorry, if you haven't already done so. Liking the video would be great. Sharing the video and things like that. Yeah, just generally supporting the video as much as you can. And as ever, I'd love to hear your opinions. Yeah, so as I was thinking, dyslexic people, as I talked about before in some other videos, worldwide there's probably around roughly 700 million or more, depending on what figures you look at. Because here in the UK they say 10% of people are dyslexic, but in America for some reason they say 20%. So I don't know how the diagnosis is different, but I suppose if you say like a lot of areas where a lot of where dyslexic people struggle in terms of reading, writing, following instructions, language. It means difficulty with language, but where dyslexic people struggle in those areas, we're stronger perhaps at more creative areas or thinking outside the box. So possibly, like, although we can be shy and be reserved and have problems with expressing ourselves or feeling confident or positive, we can probably be quite good leaders, I think, because we create and think outside the box rather than do what we're told or following instructions or things like that. And I think that dyslexic strengths, like going against the grain of what the average person does. So if you look at a market, if you look at a business where if you go where the majority goes, or what your competitor does, then you probably won't do as go further than your competitor. So I've probably gone a bit off track, but yeah. Anyway, sorry. So dyslexic people are roughly. What I'm trying to say is that America might have more dyslexic people because creative people went to America. Maybe that's, or they have a different diagnosis, and maybe other people who are struggling are diagnosed with dyslexia when perhaps the diagnosis is not really dyslexia. Like someone saying, people with ADHD, there's a lot of diagnosis of ADHD, and some of it's probably not really true, because when you're expecting kids to sit down in a classroom, the academic system, some people say, is not really advanced. Like, society has changed so much, but the academic system always seems to stay the same. Someone was talking about on a TEDx video about how, again, I've gone off track, sorry, but how a time traveler now would think the world's changed so much, it's so confusing. But if they looked in a classroom, they'd be like, wow, at least something is the same, which is the academic system. But anyhow, so I've gone way off track. I know, I do apologize. But my point about the dyslexic thing, about how dyslexic YouTubers can support each other, and how I'd love to support dyslexic YouTubers in developing countries all over Asia and Africa, especially Malaysia, India, Indonesia, and Singapore. And again, all over Asia and Africa, all 54 countries of Africa, and especially poor people, especially people with dyslexia. If as many dyslexic people set up our own YouTube channels, we can subscribe to each other and just generally support each other as a community. So I think that would be really helpful for each other. And if we struggle academically or in other areas, although there are many successful entrepreneurs with dyslexia, but in other areas many of us struggle. So I think it could help a lot of dyslexics who end up unable to either get a job or keep a job, or having low self-esteem issues. Like, part of me thinks maybe my ideas are a bit too outlandish or not making a huge amount of sense, but I'm not sure how many dyslexic people we can get online, but I think it'd be great if we could make an online community which advise each other, but also just generally supports each other's YouTube channels. Like, if all the dyslexic people in the world made YouTube channels, I know that's a bit out there, but even for me probably, but if all the dyslexic people somehow made YouTube channels and supported each other's channels, each dyslexic person would probably have about 700 million or so subscribers, which obviously would make quite a successful channel. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and I hope I came up with some reasons you would agree with. As I hope someone out there enjoyed it. I really appreciate any support. Every positive comment or like is encouraging. But yeah, honest feedback is always welcome. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there, because I'm probably waffling. But peace and love, guys.